Welcome to Making Bananas, part 3 of our 3-part series on turning fruit. Part 1 was on apples, part 2 was on pears, and if you missed those episodes, you can find links to them in the description to this video. And we're going to take a piece of wood, approximately 1.5 by 3 by 7 3/4 inch of appropriate wood. It doesn't have to be dry, it can be green, and we're going to take a template of a banana. You might draw a banana on a piece of paper and trace it out, but if you're going to, cardboard will work, but if you're going to do a lot of them, you might want to make your template out of a piece of thin MDF or plywood so that you can reuse it over and over. And simply trace that shape of that onto your block of wood. Now we're going to go to the bandsaw and we're going to cut this block of wood out. It looks like my fingers might be very close to the blade, but actually they're a ways. I'm being pretty careful about how to do it. And just saw on the outside of your line. Use a push stick if necessary. I always keep a push stick handy for safe use of the bandsaw. Now we're going to go ahead and pick up the speed a little bit as we just cut out this profile. Now, once you get it cut out, you're going to put a line right down the middle on the top and the bottom. I'm struggling with using this device for drawing a line down the middle of two pieces of wood. It doesn't seem to work real well on a curved piece of wood, but you can use a pencil. Use a soft pencil and be very careful at this stage and get it centered, because it's going to be very important as you cut the edges off the banana. Next, we're going to set our bandsaw table to 30 degrees. And we're going to take our banana and cut very carefully along that line that we drew. Keep in mind that you want to put the heaviest part. We're going to take 4 cuts, and we mark A on one end of the banana and B on the other. Mark that on both sides. We're going to take 4 cuts, and we're going to keep in mind that if you keep the heaviest part of the wood on the lower side of the bandsaw blade, it'll make it a little bit easier to cut. So we're taking that first cut, again being very careful to bring that bandsaw blade just up to that cut line. And this is going to give us a 6-sided banana. Now, if you ask people how many sides does a banana have, I'm not sure what you're going to hear. The answer is 5, but I think very few people are going to pick up on that, because this really does look like a banana when you're through. So once you cut this side, you simply rotate it over and cut the other side. Again, keep the heaviest part below the bandsaw blade. The waste will drop off the top very easily and safely. Here's a little different view as we make that next cut. Again, use a push stick when necessary. Once we get all 4 sides cut, we're going to move over to the sander. I'm using an oscillating spindle sander, which works out very well. Use the flat, do the flats against the belt, and that's on the bottoms and the sides, and try to get rid of the worst of your bandsaw marks. Then on the inside, or the concave curve, you can use that on the wider part of your sander to get those inside curves. And you don't have to eliminate all the bandsaw marks, just get rid of most of them, because as you see when we do the pyrography and the highlighting, we can actually turn that into a feature. You're going to shape the tips of the banana by just kind of rotating it around to get that final shape. And as you're sanding, look for the sides. If you made a few minor errors in cutting, look for the narrowest side and sand that the heaviest to kind of smooth it out a little bit to make the sides somewhat even in shape. Okay, we're getting ready to do a little pyrography on the banana. This banana on the right has been bleached. I don't know if you can tell the difference, but there is a definite slight whitening in some of the darker areas. And it'll lend itself to perhaps dyeing it yellow if I choose to do that. So I was experimenting with bleach. We may try that on another video. So I'm using my skew shader, and we're just going to get the tips. Definitely going to get the tips black. And if you want to get a feel for how to decorate your banana, go look at a banana. We're just going to randomly kind of highlight. We're going to hit a few spots lightly, because bananas, when they get bumped and damaged, of course you see some, and we're just going to do it randomly, small amounts, light. Be careful about hitting it too much at the same time. Let's go ahead and get the end. And we're going to turn this black. I think to turn the end I need to turn the heat up a little bit. I like this Optima unit. It's very similar to a razor tip, but maybe 20% cheaper. Uses the same type of power supply, I think same wattage or amperage, and uses the same style hand tips, except the razor tip one of them has a female plug, one has a male plug. I'd look for any spot on the wood that is a character mark and figure out how, if you need to touch it to kind of hide that a little bit. If I was going to put any dots on it, I would use a round ball one to put the round brown spots on it. But there you have it. There's our banana, and if you want to add a bit of whimsy, pull out a Chiquita label off a banana and stick it on there. Put your finish of choice. I'll probably use sanding sealer to keep the sheen down. We'll see how that works. If I want to yellow it a little bit, actually a little antique oil might work a little bit better. I might try to compare those two, but just play with it and have fun. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please share it with somebody. Your comments are most welcome, and if you feel like commenting on someone else's comment on my channel, that's okay too.